about one of my favorite cello playing techniques called pizzicato. For me personally, pizzicato is exactly as complex and beautiful and important as playing with a bow, and it is so multi-dimensional. Weirdly enough, contrasting to that, it is hardly taught. I must admit that also in my cello lessons, this was really very rarely a topic, and I had to, do my own research and create an own technique and philosophy about pizzicato, which I'm really happy to share here with you, maybe also to spare you some time and give you some inspiration how to search by your own. Because of course, every physics is different, every hand is different, and so I'm sure you will need to find out what suits you the best, but I'm really happy to show you some of the things I discovered. So now, to make it a less complex theme, it is extremely multi-layered, multi-dimensional. I would like to try to put this tutorial into chapters, starting with general physics about pizzicato, the plugging of the string. So, similarly as with the bow, it makes a huge difference at which point of the string you plug the string. It creates a totally different sound. Not only the contact point, but also the plugging direction makes a huge difference. So we have all directions to plug the string. The sideways horizontal direction usually creates the longest sound because the string will swing parallelly to the fingerboard. You can make it more crisp by plugging it up or maybe down in a vertical direction, but that will probably be more percussive. And then, of course, there are 5 fingers to plug with. Most oftenly, I see students plugging with the first finger, which I try to avoid actually, because I think it gives the hand a certain inflexibility. I prefer to use one of the both middle fingers to plug, or the thumb, because the hand seems in a better balance if it's not an outer finger. I usually go for the second finger. That's the strongest, or the third, which can be more soft. As you could see in the introductory video, I changed between the fingers according to the sound I wanted to produce. Of course, the thumb also is great, creates maybe a more full sound. When you want to imitate sounds that are a little bit more bassy or have the quality of timpani, then I prefer to use the thumb. A fourth parameter is the attachment of the thumb to the fingerboard or the freeness of the hand. Usually I see students using the first finger with the thumb attached. I personally try to avoid this because for me somehow this is a rather unflexible position. I prefer a middle finger, and usually I prefer the hand not to be attached. But that creates a very different feel, and I think you should be able to work on both. So if the hand is not attached, you're a little more fast, and you have the possibility to shape each note individually. You can give accents or counter accents. If the hand is attached, you have a better stability and you can create more calmness. Which I also like, but not so much for fast sounds. You can also make it much slower. And imitate the bass. The sound even rings on a cello so long, we have the advantage of a pretty long string, that you can create legatos by plugging once with adding 2 or 3 notes. a great way of creating a line. Then you have polyphonic playing, which is very interesting, especially in quartet lines, where you might use different fingers within one line. Just to give you a little example I just invented, where you should not play like a... It will create a way more one-dimensional sound than different fingers. And of course, there's another parameter you have to juggle with, and I'm going to grab my bow for this. Whether you have the chance not to play with the bow, of course, that's luxurious. If you have enough time to put it away, or if you don't use it at all within the piece. But of course, it makes a little difference by applying all these parameters while handling a bow, whether the choice of the finger, the connection to the fingerboard, or the contact point. Everything also applies, of course, to a bow, and you have to handle more weight, and you're a little less flexible with a bow in the hand, of course, than without. But even with a bow in the hand, it's still possible to be rather fast, and it's easier to do that disconnected. So, to sum it up, we have 5 complex parameters in a multi-layered picture of pizzicato physics. First, the contact point of where you plug the string. Secondly, the plugging direction, whether it's more horizontal or vertical, or somewhat in between. The third one is the choice of the finger or the thumb. And the fourth, whether the thumb is attached to the fingerboard while you play and plug, or if your hand moves freely. And last but not least, if you have a bow in the hand, or you can play without a bow in the hand. These are the 5 parameters you have to juggle with. So now I would like to come to the second chapter, connecting these parameters to different characters of sound that you're looking for. And it's a little bit like with the bow. You have all these different bow speed, close to the bridge, close to the fingerboard, weight and pressure, or lightness, which you juggle with and which become the balance of the sound you create. The same thing applies to pizzicato. But let me show you some extremes so you can see where to come from or where you want to go to. If you want to create a sound that is very crisp and short, I would recommend to be more close to the bridge, maybe even close to the place where you can see the rosin, and plug in a more vertical direction that creates a nice, sharp, crisp, percussive sound. Something like that would be pretty short. And the other extreme is the long sound, which is often used in cantabile phrases, even in pizzicato you can sing, but also in walking bass lines. To end this tutorial, I would like to show you some of the examples of the literature, very particular situations and require these techniques. And I will guide you through some pieces with very characteristic pizzicatos. I hope you enjoy that.